I found a ton of hype maps. Very luckily, I was able to find a Willatronics on the Axiom Discord. He's big in the Axiom and I believe Flashback community. Has a folder just like a bazillion hype maps. I think that's going to be a great way to get us started without having to just use one mountain for everything. So let me think. Where we left off yesterday, or last time, Wednesday. Where we left off Wednesday, I need to probably redo all of this, but I got something to, like, I'm not upset with the progress I made, but let's go ahead and let's see. Grab this, pick that up. I'm gonna come back over here, grab our corner. Oh, I went a little far with that, didn't I? All right, let's see. We have all that right there. But I need to get back over here a little bit more. We're tall enough for everything, and we can come out here without overlapping my abbey. Boop. And we're going to take... Oh. Hold on. Place all with air. Do, 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 do. And let's take our extrude tool. Patch in this hole. Oh, I see what happened. Oh well. Oh, you know what? Instead of doing that, why don't we instead keep this here so we can see like our progress over time as we nitpick things. Because this isn't quite like the world that I'm going to be building everything in. So how about this time we come out to this corner over here. We just start again. Boop. Yeah. Okay, do I have a blueprint? I should, maybe, have a blueprint. View? No. Where's my blueprint button? Is it just in stamp? I don't think it's just in stamps. Am I bad at this? Oh well. Where? No, it can't just be in stamps. Oh, I just placed that. Control V. Haha! I'm capable of learning. See, I'm facing south. This needs to go boop. Boop. This needs to face south. That's better. Down one. Bam. All right, so we have our abbey just like over there, just like over there. And now, back to what I was doing. So we had kind of painted out, and I'm kind of sort of a little bit learning tool mess. So I know like block equals, and we turn this to grass. I'm only going to paint over grass if I do this now. And I have this to help me out, our little yellow brick road. Clear selection. A little yellow brick road. Yeah, look at that. Okay. And then also, if I do file, open reference image, those aren't my reference images. Crafted, Elven Forest. Here's the map. It's kind of, we're just doing a bigger version of this. But not only do I want to do, you know, keep it kind of lore accurate. So this is kind of just a basic square. That's not very exciting. I want to try to like keep it game accurate, but also more lore friendly. Blend the worlds between video game and what looks like it would be like exist in the real world. And because of that, I kind of want to see if we can't hit the vibe of where here, like this little village nestled in a valley. I figure like that would be, this would be what it looks like, right? Nestled in the valley here. Like you would have your gate over here or something like that. So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. And you can kind of sort of see that starting over here. But I want to be a bit better about that. Now that I have a better idea of how the height maps work, I have a better idea of like how everything works. Yeah. And I'm okay with like starting over and over and over until we start getting everything like the workflows feeling good. So let's see. The road is very simple. Goes straight from here. I hate that whenever I click on this, it always clicks to like a different direction. Kind of like that. It's a bit different, but it's okay. Now, as far as distance out here goes, I know the mountains have to be big. They got to be big in order to look good against the trees that we build. And the forest. So the forest doesn't end up making everything look really small. The mountains have to be super big. So maybe out to here. Does that look about... Let's see, 1908. That's not even 1,000 blocks, is it? Nearly, but not quite. Right about here-ish. Bear with. I know this is a lot bigger than it was, but I think this might work. We want elevation. Load height map. Let's see. I think that's more of a volcano look. I kind of want like a nice big peak. I think something like this. And we're going to take this. We're going to make 200 blocks. As you see, big. We're just going to press and hold, and I'm going to hope I don't completely crash my computer. That was the problem. Hold on. Not big enough. Not big enough at all. That's why I kind of put it a little further away. See. $75. What is my floor level over here? This needs to get way taller though, for sure. The mountains in Azeroth are big boys. Oh, yeah, it needs to get bigger. Don't get me wrong, this is a tall mountain in Minecraft standards. Because either it gets bigger or my trees get a lot smaller, and I don't really want to do that. If that's not Minecrafty as all heck, I don't know what is. There's the clouds. As we summon the mountain to our face. I might have went a little too far. Now it kind of breaks the clouds. That's a big mountain. Let's see. I'll fly over here and actually load up some of the chunks on the way. Yeah, maybe I did put that one a little too far away. This is what I mean by like poking and prodding. Like it's completely fine because since we can erase it so easily and quickly, like we can really just take our time testing things out. Let's see. Maybe I don't need that so far away. So we'll teleport back. I'm going to say goodbye to our majestic mountain over there. Boop. Loading up the chunks and letting it update. Thanks, bot of quacks. At least it'll never get too quiet with you around. I want it to feel nestled for sure, but I also want to make sure we have space to get to the mountain, and that's something I'm trying to be cognizant of because we're gonna do little hills leading up to it. Not quite at the cloud level yet. What happens if I get crazy with the rate? If I do, say, 50 instead of 32. I'll wait for the lighting. That means everything's loaded up. And now we're going to try this again. Instead of just speeding things up, to just... Alright, it doesn't really do anything to, like, the shape of it or at all. That's fine. It is a bit closer. Alright. By how tall it is, though, we actually need it to be that big. Yeah, let's see. Load height map. Let's find some... Not that. Find some soft hills. Maya3430, how you doing? Thank you so much for the follow. You got me in the middle of figuring out how big and where I want to put my big old mountain. I think I wanted it to be about cloud level. It's pretty up there. Back here was made it too small. Up here might make it a bit too close for me to do like rolling hills, but let's find out. Couple ways to find out, but I like the try and see method. 200, load height map. Looks like a nice soft mountain though. But how are you doing? What brings you to the channel today? Besides me melting my computer, let's go. That's pretty much an entire range in and of itself. I don't mind this. I kind of want this mountain to be more of a filler. So let's find a different height map. Or rather than this one, undo this point. That's an interesting one. Playing with some interesting height maps. I do enjoy that. Oh, I need to pick up my rate. That's why this all seems a little slow. It's still at 32. If I set it to 50, this would be a little faster. Is this just one big hill? That looks more like a big mesa. I think this one might end up being better for like a big rolling hill. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's better for like one big hill up to something, or like this is like a big mesa, kind of like what you would see in the Southwest. That's what this is. Not the kind of mountain I'm going for. But we will make use of that height map in a bit. I found a place with like 200 height maps. We're just kind of playing around and testing things out. I think that'll be the ticket right here, though. height maps, of course, just being a start. I forgot to change my rate again. Just to start though, because we're gonna be repainting, resculpting almost every aspect of these mountains. But I do want to just get some quick shapes up. How's this one? It's touching clouds, so that's good. Oh, it's above the clouds. That looks like it's pretty close, but I think once we like smooth everything down to it, it'll be a lot better. That looks like a lot, I know, but wait and see. Wait. Let's see. About that ain't right. I already hear this one just recently. I think that's a volcano. $50 radius, 200. Right there. Now give us just a second. Let's just generate. All right, let's play around and find something like that. We do raise, flatten up. We're going to flatten all of this up to here just to get rid of this one big sharp line. Oh, I can pick up the radius of that by a lot. Now we do raise. feel like this is a little too much, so bring all of this up a bit more, make it a little less just flat. Let's see. Well, not flat, but sharp. I think sharp's the word I kind of want to look for. Let's see, right about and then where to go, flatten up. Okay, it doesn't do insides very well. Let's try this again. Instead of flattening this all down then. Okay, as cool as this one is, I do still like the big dome from that one. So yeah, it's too spiky for what I'm looking for. This isn't the kind of mountain range I'm trying to make, and I'm not quite getting there. So let's see if I do. I know what I'm doing. Undo. All right, let's see. I know what I'm gonna do. Go back, go back. This bad boy. Ugh. That's a lot closer. Now, if I do flatten down and I pick like right here, we just kind of shave off. Don't worry, I know there's stuff above it. We're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this off. Okay. And I'm gonna like select the rest and we'll delete all that in just a second. This is so satisfying to do. Super satisfying. Super satisfying. Magic, solid, you, goodbye. I want to make sure none of the elder grass lives up here or it's going to get in the way of the elevation tool. Elevation. Now we're going to do a raise. We're going to do this. Kind of stick to the same basic pattern. Right here in the center. What's this kind of pattern? What will it do to this flat stuff? That's what I'm curious now. Now we're kind of just having to play with some different patterns up here. That doesn't fit too... Make sure we don't have any just like unnecessarily flat areas. It is a mountain. Yeah, I went from complaining about how it's too spiky to making it spiky again, didn't I? All right. Milton, hello, hello. How you doing? We are playing with mountains again, much like we were Wednesday. Now at the very top, I want them to kind of spiky. Like this. Big mountain. Mm-hmm. And from here, we could probably start building out the rest. Now, something I do want to do. Place all Wool of the Gray variety. What I might do actually is just a nice big box select. Wish I knew a way to like paint an elevation specifically in a block, but like I haven't been able to figure that out. Like I have to, it just expands on the blocks that are already there. So I find myself painting on grass a lot, and it's not helpful. Do-do-do-do. Okay, let's see. I think I got that one. Yup. Do I have this edge? Yep. Enter. Control R. U. Place all. Control R. U. Replace all. Mm-hmm. Wonder how small it is down there now. Because look, if my active block is gray wool, but I use elevation, it won't use that block. Actually, I am kind of curious. I'm just checking the Axiom Discord right quick, just to see if somebody else has asked. That didn't work. I'm not seeing anything. Oh well. Because I'd like to be able to, like, right now, if I use the elevation tool right here, it's going to be grass until it hits the wool. Then it's the wool. It just raises the block underneath. I'd like to replace it without having to, like, actually go in and paint everything. Because sometimes I want to color outside that line, and I don't want to keep replacing the gray over and the grass over and over again with gray. It's just a lot easier to see what is and isn't mountain when it's all gray. Because I'm going to be doing, like, stone mountains with grassy hills. Thanks, Bottle Quacks. No. These should feel like bigger mountains, not like these little hills. Yeah, once I started getting a bit more in here, that snapped it together a lot more already. So let's see. I'm all the way out here. Did I make that mountain too big? I did not really. That's something with here, because like this doesn't look like it's actually all that tall. So I think once we start adding trees, but the other question is that I actually not put it back far enough. Because originally that was my big fear, that I put it too far back. But it looks like I have almost less space here than I did here. Well, that sucks. I might have to restart this. I'm just gonna have to keep restarting this until we get it right. But it looks like I was right originally to keep it back here. So that I have enough space to like do these rolling hills. Which like up to here shouldn't be trees. But let's see. Actually, what we can do real quick. Stamp. No. Elwyn Oaks. Here are the trees. Boop. Okay, game world size, I think that's actually pretty good. We'll use a few more rolling hills before we get to these foothills. And then up here. Alright, so we can play with a little bit more elevation here so it's not too flat. Something we don't want. But I think maybe that, and that's a good start for the hills? Okay. Maybe I'll just, that's why we have to make sure we get down to the ground. It's so easy to mess up scale and build too big or even just a little too small when you're building with like something like Axiom. But with the trees down, okay, that mountain, that peak actually still towers, which is exactly what I wanted. And we're gonna have some more going around and a big arc. That's kind of our centerpiece to help set the scale of the rest of the mountain. So this really feels like it's nestled and somewhere safe and hard to get to. That's kind of like a whole big point of it. It's supposed to be defensible because it's hard to access this place. Cool. The trees really help. I'm so happy I made that brush to help out with figuring out scale. How's this look when it's all touching? Usually it looks like booty. That actually doesn't look like a big blob because of the different colored leaves. That doesn't, like, you would expect all this to be a lot darker. Obviously these should all be super dark because of that, but I'm kind of okay ignoring that rule of lighting because it helps separate that these are two different trees. I think also when we get in here with the smaller trees, I got a lot of small trees, bushes, rocks that we can put around here. I need to figure out some more advanced tools with the mask tool. But I think it'll look really good. And then the trees that we put right here by the road aren't going to be these trees. These are what I call filler trees. They're good. I got them up quick. They work, but they're going to work best from a distance. Look at that. Look at that. That looks like it's a fairly varied forest, as opposed to like the ones that are way up here. I might put a little bit more time into some. The ones that are going to be like right here against the road. We'll see. At the bare minimum, I'll put more time into like the individual ones that we place instead of just randomly splotting it all over the area. All right, that helped out tremendously, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of them for now so that I can do some more hills up into this. So elevation. The terrain's beautiful. Thank you. We're making progress. We're getting there. Something nice, flat, and bright. Like this, like a big splotch. Edit. Block equals. Okay, that did not work out. Make sure we load in these chunks. Okay, so I know we have like all of this, which never looks good in Minecraft. That should probably be patched up. Let's see what happens if I do our first things. Actually, I can use the smooth tool. To just kind of smooth this all out, get rid of exactly that. Oh, look at that. That was quick. Now I can use a stamp tool. Oop, hold on. All of this as well. Do we have anything else where it's like these little dots in it that don't make sense? Kind of smooth things out just a little bit. Okay. That's kind of what we're looking for. Now, if we use a stamp tool and we keep our trees. Now, granted, it'll get a bit more naked the closer up. And we don't want our trees to be like right up on this because it will kind of diminish the scale of the mountain. But if we do this, not only does it help some of the trees look bigger, it also will help with the forest itself looking more varied and better. And all we have to do is we have to make sure that we go in, and again, I don't have to place each and every single tree, but at the bare minimum, like actually that's not that bad. But like right here where it's clearly hanging off, we'd go in and we'd fix that up. Let's see. It looks like it did a pretty decent job, and we can like fix these up in different ways where we either go in and just like extrude this out a little bit, or I don't want to do anything by hand because I won't be able to remove it or undo it, but we can also just like bring this down and let the trees kind of go around the terrain a little bit, and that really wouldn't take that long. That'd be like, for even something like this sizable, this would be maybe a half hour, 45 minutes to just go through and make sure that all of this little elevation is different, and that if it is digging into the dirt, that's fine too. Trees do that. They latch into wherever it is their little heart desires. Oh, look at that. Just that little bit of variance, not everything's super flat. Oh, it's so good. And so quick. Okay, so I think that's working. Let's go to right here, and what I'm going to do, we're going to use the paint tool. And first things first, we are going to paint pretty much all of this. There's just big areas real quick. Give us an idea. Hold on. I made this mistake. Hold on. Oh, I broke my game. Let me boot that right back up. Oh. This is taking a very long time to boot back in, guys. Okay, I'm back. Paint. Okay. Painting with type replace. Don't. Just don't do that. Did not be a fan of that. Wasn't a fan of that at all. So let me do that again. Can I crash my game a third time today? Let's find out. Okay. Let's just stick to mask surface, I suppose. I was going to be clever because I know everything underneath this, presumably, see, is dirt. But it wants to be a butthead, so I guess. What if I just don't mask the surface? Oh. Oh, ad break. Sorry about the ad break, guys. Let me... Okay, so type replace doesn't work on this at all. It just crashes my game. That's probably because I'm modded or something. I don't know. Not too concerned. It probably will never actually be an issue unless I try to do it again for some reason. But we are going to go ahead and paint all we can so I can try to keep some sense of cohesiveness here. But also, so I can do, when I do this, I can be like, whenever I do this, I can quickly see, like kind of like what I did here, I can quickly see the outline of what we're building. I think for the hills, actually, we're going to keep this grass. Keep the mountains themselves gray, but for the rolling hill portion, it's really okay. It worked. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like this. So again, when I'm in the map, I can quickly see what I'm going to do. Now, let's gray. So we want this to keep rolling. Oh, thank you so much for the check-in, Milton. We're going to have it keep rolling out this way. Kind of just paint it out. You always forget? That's fair. Yeah, it's okay. So let's see. Now, this isn't going to be like the center here, one big peak, the center here, one big peak. I'm going to try to have a couple of different mountain peaks here to give it the illusion at least. I don't want to build a full mountain. Well, I don't need to build like a massive, super thick mountain range, but I do want it to be more than just one big hill, to at least give it a better illusion of a mountain range than what we see in World of Warcraft. Which I think I'm going to start streaming. I might actually be streaming that this weekend. I'm having an absolute blast with this in the world. I feel like I'm making some real progress. That's got the fire lit. I do need to make some shorts so I can stay somewhat relevant on YouTube and pretend that that's a platform I'm interested in. I might have made this part too fat. It's, yeah. I got a little overzealous. But I think this weekend I need to focus on some keys, and taking 10 hours of my weekend to do Minecraft instead doesn't allow me to do that. You want to see what the game's all about? It's about a lot of different things, but the way I play it's definitely not going to be the same way a lot of other people play it, because I'm focused on the very competitive part. But yeah. Let's see. $180-second ad break. Let me go ahead and hit up the AFK screen. I'm just going to take a quick stretch walk, make sure my water's filled up, and I will be right back after ads. And I'm back. Let's see. Up and around and back. Do 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 do. going to be really interesting is if I can ever find a program that lets me, I'll go in and clean that all up a little bit later. But that lets me select all the chunks from this world and drop it into another one, or if I'm going to have to, like, bit by bit copy and paste it over somehow. I don't yet know how I'm going to address that. That's definitely a cross that bridge when I get there moment. How's it to make sure this valley is big enough to fit an entire farm? It's up and over here. Okay, another thing, so we can grab back our stamp, our Elwyn Oaks, do this. So all of this is gonna be like nestled in trees. The whole thing is a forest. This is all nestled in the trees. That's fine. And of course, like as the closer we get to up here, we'll have more hill. But this will all be trees as well. And we do have some spruce made. We have some birches made. This is going to get a lot more varied and interesting as we go along. If I happen to see a spot where I'm like, oh, this is real boring, then we'll fix it. But also, I always wanted to make sure that one of the things that I'm making sure of is that, like, I have redemptions. Like, if people wanted a player house, they could have that. If they wanted a little house out here, just a little cottage thing, they could do that. Why not? I'll add that. I don't care. I want to be 100% lore accurate. So in this back corner over here, though, there's going to be a mine. We actually have that in our reference image, which I had to reload because reasons of crashing. Right here, our map. This little mine back here, the Echo Ridge mine, is going to be back here. And I'm going to make that into a proper little camp because look how far away from the Abbey we are. That doesn't make sense that people would like walk from here all the way to the Abbey every day. Ain't happening. So we'll do a little path, like a little I mean, it makes sense also that there would be a path. So we'll probably do a proper little path with some carts along it to show that there is a proper mine out here. And we'll do a whole everything. So let's see. I've been doing a lot of my infrastructure. I was doing it in orange. So we can keep that up. No problem. So first things first, the mine. First things first, the mine. Probably be here-ish. We can do that little... That means how big this is. And we can pretty much fit the whole camp right here. So we'll say the whole mining camp in operations right there. And we've got some bigger mines in the game that we can use for inspiration here. But there's no reason in my brain why this wouldn't be its own camp in the lore. I understand why in the actual World of Warcraft game it's not. It's just a skip away. You have no mounts. You're definitely not flying. Everything's supposed to, like it's just so you don't have to walk 20 minutes IRL time to get here. That's perfectly fine. Makes sense. Don't have to do that here. And one of the big things is if you don't want to walk everywhere, because we have the create mod, we can make trains. I need to see if Lord Thaddeus has some time to talk that with me. Look how far away we actually are from the Abbey. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. That actually feels like we have to travel a little bit. Like if we were sent out on a quest to clear out that mine, it would feel like a quest. That's actually a decent distance. I like this a lot. And this is me flying. This is me walking right here. Look how far away. Yeah, this is the kind of scale. And the reason I started with Northshire Valley, because it's so small, that I can use this to help set what the scale would be like elsewhere. Oh, I like that a lot. And I kind of want to replicate this same scale over here-ish. So let's see. There's not really anything up in here, but that's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's fine to have some places that aren't fully like... We can make this to like the rolling hills over here. I'll probably delete a lot of those trees later. It doesn't matter. Let's see. So we're that far away. I'd say for the river... 2317. What is it, about 600 blocks to over here? Quackbot. Oh, thank you, Quackbot. About 600 blocks over there. Let's see what that looks like. How's that feel? What's 600 blocks? I'd say around this level of travel distance, so we'd hit that river. So we come back here, because this is going to be a graveyard. I wish I had a way. I might try to expand on this a little bit bigger, but at the bare minimum, there will be a graveyard here. This is going to turn into a proper stable / farming area. And there's a road back here that leads to a river. And I think, oh, you know what? I might have nailed the line. I think right about here. I think I kind of already nailed that. Perfect. This river right here. Maze is a genius. Super grape. All right, so if we're gonna do that, we're gonna grab this. We're gonna grab our wool brushes, and we'll make it a nice cyan. It's a good color for a river. So first things first, we have the waterfall. So we got to know that we're gonna be doing a waterfall through here. So that's the river. Waterfall and a little lake back here. Hold on. Lake goes up like this. I'll delete that from the tree later. That's fine. Haha, cyan. And we'll make that look a bit more natural later on. Yeah, when we get the elevation in, I think that'll look a lot better. Kind of keep winding it over. And we'll make sure to do some hills so that this sits in the low area. And then there's going to be another big mountain, a big-ish mountain about here. And here, you can see this one right here technically cuts off both before we hit the mountain range again. So we'll figure out exactly where that goes there. But that looks like a proper river, not just a small stream. So I like that a lot. And how's this look as far as the size of a lake? I think this is just a bit too pronounced. In-game, how's this look? Ooh, that does look like a pretty good lake size. Especially when we get in here, we start really terraforming it. Because there's a lot of this we can do by hand. We'll try to figure out some shortcuts, some ways to add life to it. I'm probably going to do like a small boat or something. We can have that moving around via create. There's also a couple of perfectly survival-friendly ways to get things moving around in here. Just to add movement. Now, for that, we also want right about here, say this makes sense. We'll grab this, we'll do this, and we will do here. Boats, yes. Actually, you know what? Let's make you light gray. And that's going to be a bridge. And now in the game, it's a little wooden bridge. I'm probably going to make it a proper stone bridge. It makes a lot of sense to me, and we're probably going to do an actual road because Northshire Vineyard, right there, the vineyards is literally one field. And like there's like a broken down shack up here that bandits took over ages ago. And I'm doing a post all of that build, like a big redux. So what I want to do is make it where there's some actual infrastructure here because, you know, it's important that this is here. So we'll do a proper little stone bridge. I'm thinking like a very cute English style arc bridge with a little walkway, and then that's when you get into the vineyards. And this can be a lot flatter over here, but also we're going to start seeing some human, some farmland. So what we can do is obviously this is going to be better when we actually get down there and build it. But look how quickly we can just get an idea for a few quick fields. And if you're clever, you can actually open this up and you can open up map with Axiom. It does hide that, but it's a quick way to like look at your reference. So it looks like in the game, most of it is actually in the southern area. I'm not 100% concerned with like perfectly matching these dips here. I just want to get the general idea that this is Northshire Valley. But for the vineyards, I think it's fine that there is a full vineyard out here. I think it makes sense that we do some proper fields and a proper farmhouse, some windmills, the whole 9 yard. And we'll pull up some references of Minecraft farmyards and make sure that that all looks good. This is going to bother me if I keep it like this. So we are gonna at least, you know what I can do? I can do this. It will bother the holy living crap out of my sensibilities if I keep it like this. This is not permanent, and it will have to change because I also know this is an even number. It's 50s, and we will not build on evens in this place. Chat, I am not evil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bop. Confirm. Bop. Nah, there might be a build or two that I build in events, but it would be very specific things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bop. Now, is this... I would assume this kind of makes sense. We wouldn't need too much space between that bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That feels better. We might... Pretty close to that lake. Should we move it? Should we move it all south a bit more? I know this is technically a diagonal. The bridge might end up being a diagonal. That's fine. These, we can make them a bit more artistic if we wanted to, but it gives us an idea. Might even do a few more. And make them nice and big, because these I don't know of any other vineyards that like are making a lot of wines. So in the game you have Northshire Valley, then you have Elwyn Forest, big old lake out here, a big old lake here. It's a very like a lot of lakes are in the forest. Stormwind sits right here, and then if you go to the next zone over, it's Westfall, and the Westfall's whole thing are massive wheat fields. This is the breadbasket of the entire Alliance army. The fact that it's a coastal zone, like the whole thing is coast, and the Horde never just went up and set fire to it all and starved out the Alliance is, you know, a thing. They're not very good at war. But that's but like as far as vineyards, it's pretty much all you see Alliance side. You see some more for the elves way far north. But that's the high elves, the blood elves. So that's Horde land. This is also a really big field. So we might break this up. That's really big for a farm field. Even in World of Warcraft, we have like robots. We might break this up a bit. Yeah, this one field is massive compared to here, which is not unrealistic if you've seen like a modern farm field. Let's make you smaller. So instead of 50, you know what, let's cut you right in half, 25. And if we're going to do that, let's go ahead and put you... I don't know what this would be. Like, in the game, it's just honestly like a few small huts. There is no house. There is no farm. I like the lake. Maybe that is just nestled up there, and we just put a small cottage up there because we can. Or I save that spot if somebody wants a player house. We can put it up in the lake up there. But we keep the farmland to the south of this bridge for the most part. It's fed by this river. That's most of its irrigation. So what do we think? What do we think? Put it here? 25 is still a big field. This is a big field, and we're going to do a couple of these. But we do that, and then what were we doing for this? And then we could do a farmhouse. We can pull off of some old... Because in Warcraft, some of the biggest farms that you see, even in Westfall and whatnot, is literally just, it's a house right here, or you'll see a barn, a house, you might see another house here, and you might see a tower right here, like a grain elevator. For this one, since it's a vineyard, we might, and because we have the Abbey right here, we might pull off some more of an Italian feel. That might not actually not fit. Like, we'll stick the house with the Elwyn home style, the human home style. We can stick with that, which is very medieval. But if we blend that with kind of like an Italian villa feel, as opposed to an American plantation field, as far as the farm goes, I think that would feel good. So let's see. We do this. So our farm's going to be right here, our vineyard, and we'll see. We might do more. We might even do some more farm. Yeah, I was thinking just one farm, but looking at all this space, we might be able to do a couple of little houses here and make this like a proper multi-family thing. Maybe. It also depends, because I think the way we're going to do the fields, because right now you just see one big crop field that's not very exciting. But if I do the fields, if I do it more up on a hill, we can do our crops, our grapes. That's very easy to do. All you do is some oak leaves. You get some, not amber. Oh. Comes from the pale oak. Comes from the pale oak. What are you? Resin. You get resin. That's what it is. Not amber. Resin. Definitely not amber. And you do fence. And all you have to do, like I said, very easy. You do this. You do this. You do this. You actually don't even need the fence. Ta-da! You got yourself grapes. And you can do the fence. You can do the fence on top. You can do the fence on the both. But you can do grape fields with the resin. Look at this. Look at this. So we could do crop fields that are kind of the like up on a hill sort of thing, and then we do a house sitting up on a hill with a windmill. A lot of space. So yeah, let's go ahead and finish. Making sure I don't miss anything. Oh, ho, ho. You need to play with resin more? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I like resin a lot. I actually used it a lot as kind of a moldy looking thing when I did the interior of the house that Calvin made for me on his world. Not that. It was a lot of fun. It's such a good block. But I can keep myself enough space. All right, we'll have to see if this changes before I dedicate too much of this, because it'll still be like in forest. It'll be a weird blend of things. We'll look. I will look at some references for like Italian vineyards, vineyards. Because I like that idea of like the rolling Italian Mediterranean hills here as an influence. But we got to see how much space we have once we start adding in elevation, because it's Minecraft. The reason everything needs to be spread out so much is because when you just a few blocks high can start to feel really, really tall, even if it's not really, just because Minecraft. So for example, when we're over here at the Abbey, all right, so when we're at the Abbey, like that's big. It is just objectively, that's big. It's supposed to be big, and it's because that's so big, it makes all of these look a little bigger. But when you're over here, it's honestly only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 blocks tall. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's 8 blocks tall, but it looks big from over here. That looks like a pretty sizable little hill, especially with the mountain back there. So that's why I'm being so very, very careful to ensure that I have room, because I don't want to like dedicate a ton of time building something out, making it look really good. God, look at this Microsoft Paint looking thing. I love Distant Horizons. I did kick it up to 300 blocks because of like how big we're painting, but and obviously like all of this is going to change once we really start putting in playing with the elevation tool. But that's why I've been so very careful, because you see right here how quickly I took up so much space with even just some very small hills. I wonder if there's a way to very quickly and very easily delete everything above this block of grass. I kind of wish. Oh, you know, everything's grass. If I do a tool mask edit, block equals grass, and then I do air as my painting block. Nope. Sculpt. These are preset. No. Are preset? No. Are examples. Single block, multiple blocks, grass surface. No. Paint. Above equals grass. Oh, interesting. I need to play with this more. There has to be a way for me to quickly delete everything above, like... Oh, y equals. Y equals. Be an and? That's not it. Because what I want to do, I want to just quickly delete all of this without having to go through and doing that. I guess a box select does work. All right, all the woods, all the leaves. I don't know a faster way to do this, and I kind of wish I did. I knew I was going to be deleting these two, and it'd be nice to be able to be like, everything above Y, whatever, just get rid of it. But I'm not skilled enough to do that. Okay. Close enough. Now we can come out here. We're going to clear our selection. Elevation tool, load height map. Active. Gotta get to my height maps. Dude, Willitronics, absolute wonderful person that he is. Dropped an entire folder of height maps in Axiom in the Discord. You can go find them at any time. Like 200 height maps. I have no idea where he got them from. Super pleased that he did. Because it's made this all the more easier. Alright. This needs to go up to like 100. This needs to get up here. And whereas I didn't want this one mountain to be too spiky, I still like the idea of like a range. So we're definitely going to make sure we get that. And it's all going to kind of blend up to it, which will help this look a little bit more natural. It's not going to look like there's just one big dome that somebody, like a big traffic cone someone put there. Oh, but look how quickly we got a fairly believable looking mountain. Like everything looks like it got pushed nice and up. And we're going to keep wrapping this a little bit to make sure that this looks good. And it's none of them have to get quite that big. Like that's just like, that was my big centerpiece. There is a big mountain in between Elwyn and Stormwind. I wanted to make sure to represent that as best I could. But I want this here to look a bit more like a proper range. Now the cool thing with height map, it's based off of your camera perspective. So if I do this right here in the center, you can get a good idea of this mountain. Look at the shape of this mountain. Just kind of take a second to look at the general shape of it and get the idea of the big beats like this peak here and here. But now if I go this way and I build it this direction, you can see these are the same. This ridge right here is over this ridge right here. Like it's mirrored. It's not the exact same. Or it is? It wasn't supposed to be. I don't know. It's a very symmetrical looking mountain. Anyways, I promise it is by the way that you're looking at it. If you get something like this that's properly rounded, you'll see it. That does not look good because it doesn't, it's breaking the push up. Like mountains get, you know, we all know how mountains are created. It's tectonic plates pushing against each other and one goes up. So like, unless I'm very much misremembering, you shouldn't have a mountain that like goes against the same general build. Like something like this, that feels good. And we're going to make sure that our valleys here aren't too deep. Like we can have some, but maybe not quite so deep. So maybe get ourselves just a nice peak, no fanciness like this. And then we can actually, I do wish the control right click. So you can do this to scale, but you can only do it to that. This should be the way to break out of that. If I didn't want to type it every time. Because sometimes I don't want to type it every time. I may need to find some references for mountains on let's see, if I return to this Monday, I want to have some references for the actual mountain ranges so we can get an idea of how these individual peaks, because I don't know, like obviously like this would be an individual peak. That's how the height map works. Like this would be one big mountain, but like I want to blend it to make this look like a lot of multiple mountains together. So that's something we'll have to be cognizant of. Something I can do though with very minimal difficulty. So let's find a good ridge here. I like this ridge right here. And this right here. Something I like, and you'll see this a lot in like South American mountains where you have this really good ridge that like kind of blends the two mountains. It's that iconic shot. New Zealand mountains have it a lot because you see it in like the Lord of the Rings, that iconic shot of where it's like they're walking along the ridge of a mountain. I love it. I love those that feature so much. So let's build one. Oh, you know what? No, we don't want this height map. We want a nice sharp height map if we're going to do that. Something sharp. Ooh. This one might be a little more difficult. Like I said, the orientation does matter. So let's see. See what I mean? So if I do, like, if I face here. No. Here. Yes. Yes. Like that. Except for not as pronounced. And then what we do now, right here in the center, we're going to put up another peak. I need to eat some space. So let's put a nice big mountain right there. That's perfectly fine. Let's see. We do our painter. We do gray wool. We're gonna paint where we put some of this mountains, just so we can make sure I'm keeping everything as cohesive as we can. We're going to come in here. We're going to use stuff like the melt tool, strength 3. We can come in and like smooth things out like this. So, well, not even just smooth things, we can also rough things up. So say all of this here, maybe we want to do oh, you know what we could do? Do we have capsule? Yes, I love the capsule tool. Bring the strength down a bit. Maybe not. Not yet. We can smooth into these and have this blend all a little bit better. Let's see what this looks like when we smooth all that. Let's increase our strength. Less like these really crushed, tight, spiky peaks. More like this big roll, kind of like what we have going on over here. That took away a little of the interest right there. I don't want to do that. But maybe in here. Heck, we can even like hide a little lake right here. Or some snow. That's not that bad. Might use to store it when we go to build that that river. Look at this right there. Right now I've not used many of these tools for a long time. Roughen does the exact opposite of smooth. Don't need to do that. And then shatter, I know, just kind of breaks things. It's kind of like a random noise pattern. So if you have something like real smooth like this, you can do this. You see this random noise pattern right there? And it'll just kind of delete those. That's shatter right there. And it can get pretty deep into it. You see a couple of blocks in. Like right there. Look how deep in that is. So I would say be careful where you're using it, because whereas it looks not bad from a distance, like that's kind of interesting. Yeah. But if we wanted to distort all of this, and that felt like it was a little too smooth, like you can see all these lines here, we can get rid of that pretty quickly with the distort tool. But it can also very quickly start looking kind of like Minecraft. Like this starts to look like Minecraft terrain, whereas this is just a little bit of interest. You got to be careful. Of course, color and shadow will help out a lot. We're going to try to get the top of that mountain snow covered. Oh. Where is my elevation? Almost looks like I would fit a whole other small town in here, honestly. Which is good. Like I said, he's supposed to feel like big, impassable mountains, so I think this is good. Like, I don't need to do miles and miles and miles. I don't need to put Stormwind all the way over there, but I think this is going to be better than just like one big hump, and that's the mountain range. I think this better exemplifies kind of sort of what they had in the map. I'm not going to pull that up right now. Not me. My tools. I like this. Okay, I'm okay with this kind of being hills up in two, but I need if this is going to be this, I need to find myself something a little bigger out here. This is going to be where the mine is, so here. I'm having a blast playing with these hype maps. Nope. No. Not quite. There it is. Got it fit. We'll smooth some of this out. I feel like something should go here. Maybe, but maybe not. That looks pretty good. Should this mountain get about midway, do we think? So I hope you guys can, like, I'm trying to keep it make geographic sense. Now, granted, I was saying, you know, like tectonic, but I can't remember for the life of me if it's a headcanon, if it's just like fan lore, or if it's real lore. But a lot of the mountains in World of Warcraft don't make any sense of like geology. And that's because in World of Warcraft, you have the dragon aspects, and they were like the protectors of different types of nature, and one of them was Neltharion, the Earth Warder. His whole thing was helping shape the Earth. I don't know if they've retconned this since then, but I always liked the idea that Neltharion, personally, he was like, oh, here's where the humans are, so I guess we'll just kind of make this a little safe, because they're little squishy boys, and they don't need to be attacked by everything at all times. So, like, we personally, like, segmented out the world, and, like, a lot of the mountains were maybe handcrafted. A lot of the world was also crafted before the dragons by the Titans. Like, with the dragons helped the Titans do so. So I kind of am okay with that lore. I'm going to hit the painter. We are going to use tool mask, edit. We're going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. Actually, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to do block equals. We're going to do grass. And this means I won't paint over my wool right there. Good job, me. So clever and smart. Sometimes handsome. Okay. Height maps, elevation. I got another that's kind of like that. This one's an interesting shape. Let's see. Not like that. Not that one. I'm gonna do that. Actually, I think this one over here will work really well. Trying to get the angle right. I feel like I got the angle wrong there. Hold on. Not quite. I think right there. I think that, yep, there it is. Come back down here and let's look. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think with the color, that's going to be great. A couple of big peaks is great to help. Keeps everything kind of balanced out too. Might just do some sparse spruce trees out here, but the big camp's going to be here. It's going to be forest up to here. We'll do some light hills out here, which we could probably do a little bit. Let's see. We want something real flattish. That look very samey. Am I seeing a lot of similar patterns over here? Kind of, but we can go over that with the smooth and fix that real easy. That'll help randomize a few things. But this, building up into these mountains, big, real helpful. Go ahead and elevate all of that, and then what we do is kind of just keep following here. Now all of this, we're going to grab our smooth tool. My strength is way too high. Move it in here as well. This right here is a little too rugged. That out, because the bottom of these shouldn't be like that, I don't think. This isn't like a heavily volcanic black rock area, so that's fine. Ads start in 3 minutes. Oh no, not more ads. Oh no, not more ads. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of keep poking and prodding. I'm coming up to where our waterfall is gonna be. I was just looking at the map. Not bad. Distance wise, I'm still going to have to clear out these trees and do more hills into here until it flattens out closer to the Abbey. And of course, we'll do some rocks and we'll do a few small hills here and there. I don't want anything that'll be too flat. That's what gives the world its character. I really like these hills. I kind of want to make sure I replicate that again around here. Like, I feel like we could also just do some hills. Like this right here feels like a good place for a nice big hill, and we put just trees on top of it. It just feels like a good spot for a hill, maybe. Yeah, and there's space here. Somebody was like, man, I've always wanted a little house in the valley. That makes sense. Like, just because the Abbey's here doesn't mean it has to be literally the only thing here. Like, where do these people live? Where do they live, you know? Oh. I'm just checking one thing. Give me 1 second, guys. And I'm back. And I'm back. I wanted to take a break, but I didn't. I asked on the Axiom Discord a question. Got a quick answer. Love it. Let's do another mountain right here. I think ooh, that's gonna have to get smoothed out. So let's do our smooth. And we're like, we see like these single block holes. Let's smooth that out. Of course, we're gonna go in and we're gonna like better connect some of these because I don't think like these big individual circles makes a lot of sense. So what we'd end up doing is kind of like what we did over here, where we'll grab another one and just paint around until they're nice and a bit more connected or molded up. And you see right here how we connected a bunch of these together. You can no longer tell that they were just like big, and unless you look in the back. Never look at the back of someone's build. That's rude. What's wrong with you people, chat? I kind of don't like this one at all. So I think I'm going to remove this one. Elevation. Kind of didn't like that. Let's do another. That's more of like a on the top one. Let's see. Here's an interesting one. Nice. Very good. That one's tight. Ooh, no. Interesting, kind of like a big natural wall. That's just a cool shape. Can I get that like right? No. No. Nope. Almost. Almost, chat. Almost. Yes! That's just an interesting shape. I like having that. Let's grab our smooth tool. I feel like this one should be a bit more pronounced. Maybe if we start in the back here and we get something that kind of makes this one a bit bigger. But preach. Scale's a bit of a sharper one right here. Kind of like that, yeah. Here, that's where the smooth tool comes back into play. Smooth out that line, this sharp line that got created here. Just gonna smooth out that entirely. Look at that already. Perfect. I'm undecided on this valley here. If I want to put another peak so I can make this not look so alone, or kind of keep this valley in here. But if I keep that valley in there, it feels like I kind of need to put something there. So let's see, because I've been looking at this for a little bit. Not extrude. I feel like it should be something a little sharper. Not quite where I want it. No. No, that did not work out how I was hoping it would. Maybe it's just a hype map. I have this one that's very clearly a big volcano. See that ring? But let's see. 32. Let's bring you back up to, let's say 52. Why not? Some odd little number, like an even number, but you know what I mean. Here. I know where we're going to use that, and we're not going to use that here. Okay, I know what we're using that for. I thought that might be pretty pronounced. I didn't think it was going to be that good, and I know exactly where we're going to use that later in the future. Like, still need like big. I'll probably eat up some of that space and make this one not look as big. And then of course we'll need to bring the hills up here a little bit better, and we're going to smooth this out a bit. And none of this is like final shapes. Obviously, we're going over every rock as we continue to shape this up. You know what we can do actually? We're going to do flatten up. We're going to pick, let's say, right about, where do I want because I don't really want this valley in here at all. I think if we flatten to here. I have no idea what this song is. Flatten all the way up to here. I love that. I love that tool. $50's not enough. Smooth tool, smooth this out a bit. Load. I think this might be a good shape. If I can hit this, nope. If I can get this shape started good. I feel like this one might actually be more of a 75. This? No. There we go. I think I nailed it.
person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're die inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out and make it great.
Elevation. Smooth tool. Now we're gonna just start painting. Really, this is the part down here that needs to be very smooth. I like the idea that there's gonna be like this divot in here, and that's where the mining camp's gonna be. So that's perfectly fine with me. But we want to make sure this part here is just kind of slopes up a bit more naturally. Ooh, no light like that. It's smooth in here though. Here's a question. That's up pretty like that. What if we... How do I... Okay, so that's using the slope tool. Okay. I kind of wish there was a bit more noise to it. Maybe that. Here, slope it up. It's almost like direct stairs. It's kind of, it's different for sure. I kind of want that smoothed out, but slope's not doing it. I kind of want this to come down to here, but with a bit more noise. Maybe if instead we bring the elevation up to it. I think that looks a lot more natural though, that it's kind of like these humps going up into these much bigger ones. That looks good. I think from a distance, this is looking good. Not as good as this does from that distance. Oh. I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, it's a mountain range. That's a forest. That's a little abbey nestled in the forest, and that's going to be a vineyard, a proper vineyard, not just one farm that's set on fire and has been on fire for like 13 years. That's a start. I'm excited to paint this. I think that's going to look so good when we get some snow and ice and everything going on up there. Not all of it's going to be snow covered, only the tops. Everything else can be really rocky, which is why I wanted to make sure we were doing gray. Oh. All right, that's a lot of progress, but I'm getting pulled away to do something, so I'm gonna go do that. I had a great time building this. Thank you guys for everyone who was, hanging out this long and watching. And I'm probably gonna play some World of Warcraft this weekend. We'll see, but I will I will see you guys in the next stream. It'll be announced on the Discord. And as always, ciao.